guys, welcome back to The Average Garage. On today's episode, we're going to be fitting the genuine Mitsubishi wiring harness or the trailer harness to the Pajero Sport. Alright, so for a rundown of what's in this kit, we've got the battery cable here that goes to a plug in the engine bay. We've got a kick panel plug here to join the circuit up. We've got a bolt for the ECU here, as well as some foam tape and double-sided tape and some adhesive connectors. We've got some cable ties up the back. We've got the rear harness here, which is what plugs into the female socket. So we're going to start from the front and work our way back. Okay, so now we're just going to access the kick panel here. So there's a couple of clips which just pop out. This screwdriver is a little bit big for this, but you can still get them. And then this is a speed clip that just unscrews. They're not very tight. So we'll move that out of the way, set the camera back up again. So as per the instructions, there's two connectors. Up here, there is a 4-pin connector that's tucked away up here. That one there. And there's a 2-wire connector down here. If I very carefully get rid of this electrical tape, you can see here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to plug this one up first. And this one is going to come round. And we're going to plug that in there. Then all we're going to do is get some cable ties and cable tie it all in place. Alright, moving on to the back of the car now. I've taken the kick panel out of the back. So I've exposed me secret hoarding stash of dunny paper in there. You can never have enough. So what we're going to do now, you can see there's just a connector in here. We're going to grab the ECU and the wiring harness though, and we're going to just refer to the instructions and see where they want us to mount it all up. The instructions here, they actually specify on the other page to take the bumper off and drill a hole. But one of my awesome viewers made note that there's a drain or a bung right there on the inner panel that you can use, so you don't have to run through the outer panel, which in my opinion is a bit of a stupid idea. So we're going to run from this inner panel here, or this inner bung that you can see there. We're going to use that to run the wiring out so we don't have to drill another hole. Bung out. Don't tell anybody about this, or my car will get broken into and some prick will steal it. Okay, so we're about to feed this wire in from the inside to the outside of the car. So I've untaped this bit because it was looped back around and taped on itself. So yeah, what we're going to do, this plug is actually too big to go through with the conduit. So we're going to feed this plug through, then we're going to feed this end through, and then it's going to loop around and catch up on itself, and then a bit of jiggling, and it should all go through quite nicely. Now I taped this up just to make it easy to push through. It probably helped. now it's undone. Easy. So now I'm just going to remove the electrical tape from this connector so the connector's free. And then I'm going to plug it into the harness. This bolt I thought was actually for the ECU, but it turns out it's for the ground. So this is a bit tricky, but the ECU actually needs to sit in there. So that little blank patch there is where they want the ECU to sit. Alright, so that was a royal pain in the ass, but as you can see up there, the trailer harness ECU is mounted. Now I've just stuck it directly to the sound deadening with the double-sided pad. In the instructions it thinks there's a big blank patch there. There's a tiny blank patch there, but it's not big enough to stick it to. So I stuck it to the sound deadening. I had to pop this cable off to give myself some more room. So I'm going to pop that back in, and then we're going to put the earth bolt on. Now by all means you could reuse the original bolt, but the difference is this one actually has a spring and a washer on it. This will keep a lot better tension for a grounding purpose. The bolt also has a cutting thread on it, so it'll cut through any paint left inside that hole from manufacturing of the car. Alright guys, so we're all done in here, so I'll just grab the light. So up in there we've got the ECU, so that's stuck down and the cable is cable tied in place. The earth bolt is put in. Those cables and the connector are all cable tied up, and even down there got a cable tie just to keep the wiring off the body. So we're all sweet. So now that that's done, we're going to move under the car. Alright, so a little bit has changed since you last saw this. So I can't take the rear bumper off because I put my PAC bar on, and I really can't be bothered taking the PAC bar off. So the bumper's super simple to take off. There's two clips down the bottom. There's a couple of bolts on each side, and there's a bolt behind each reflector at the back here, and then the whole thing just sort of pops off from the sides out, and then it will just fall pretty much off. But because I've got the PAC bar on, that's holding it on. Anyways, what I've done, I've pulled the bar back enough to expose down in here. There was a clip with a plug on it, and you actually need to disconnect that plug and unpin one of the wires. So this is where things are going to get a little bit technical for you, so try and stay on board. This white piece here actually lives inside there, so you grab it with some pointy nose pliers and pull it out, and that exposes the pins in here. So inside here, if I can get some light in there, there's 4 pins, and you'll see there's a tiny little tab that I used a seal pick tool for, and you just very gently lift that little tab up. You very gently lift that little tab up, and then you can pull the wire out the back like that. You can't take that out any other way. If this is too difficult, I suggest honestly just cutting that wire and putting your own type of connector on there, but make sure that it's waterproof. So anyways, that being said, that connector's out. Now what I can do is put that connector in this connector here, which is supplied with the kit, which connects to this connector here. So that's the trailer harness there. They're the wires that go to the trailer connector itself. And this connector, I'm pretty sure this disables the parking sensors while you have a trailer on board. So yeah, all we're going to do is now I'm going to push this pin into this housing, and then we can connect that up, and then I can put this. I'm not going to put this back where it was. I'm actually just going to cable tie it up out of the way, because I don't want to put it back together. But what they do suggest in the instructions is you remove this blank plug here and put this blank plug in the hole where you took this pin out. Same deal with this single connector. You have to pull this first pit out of the inside. I just used some needle nose pliers. I think you're supposed to do it with a like a pin press thing when it's all together, because I have no idea how you're supposed to get that out otherwise. So now I'm gonna figure out which way this goes. Pin goes that way. All right, so it goes in this way until you hear a click and you can't pull it back out. And then we're gonna put this piece back in. Like that. So that's all done. All right, so we're back under the car. I've got this plug that we've just modified and taken the pin out of. That's now plugged in. What we're gonna do is run that round here. It's run up through there. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna cable tie that out the way, probably along this other harness that it's joined to, just so it doesn't rub on anything. And then we're gonna plug this single connector into there. We're gonna run these wires under the bumper here, and what I'm gonna do, I'm actually not going to bolt the trailer plug to the rear bar. I'm going to have mine loose but cable tied out of the way, so that when I do tow, because I don't tow very often, I'll just cut the cable tie and run this up between the bar and the bumper, and then when it's out of use, when I'm not towing, I'll just have it cable tied under the car. That way I'm not going to smash it under the bar and it'll be out of the way, and then when I need it, it's easily accessible just by cutting a cable tie. Alright folks, so we are done. So it's all cable tied up. So this is just loosely cable tied here. It's not going to go anywhere. A spare tyre will hold it in place if anything, and it can't come out. And whenever I need to use a trailer, I'll just feed it up between the bumper and the rear bar, flick it over the rear bar, plug it in, and away we go. So there you go. Alright guys, so there you have it. That is the Pajero Sport wiring harness for the trailer harness install. So thank you very much for watching. Now don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you all in the next video. Cheers guys.